We know that you're not going to resign for having bought a $9 million condo on Billionaire's Row and having personally initiated that process. Will you resign for lying to a parliamentary committee?
Mr. Chair, what the evidence I have given to this committee consistently is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Too bad the facts don't back that up.
Just give me the names of the officials in your office you spoke with. It is not a difficult question. For the third time, give me names.
Mr. Chair, for the third time, I will say.
So you see, Mr. Clark, the issue that we are facing here is that you have obviously and shamelessly lied to this committee on multiple occasions.
Gang, what's up? Aaron here, Canadian Looney. Get your Canadian federal politics right here. Smash the like, hit subscribe. This video doesn't really need an explanation. Let's jump right into it.
How many kids did you molest with Jeffrey Epstein? More than just elbows.
On November 5th, news broke about your involvement in the purchase of the $9 million condo on Billionaire's Row. And then, having been found out, you sent a letter, and the letter said, I was not aware until media reports this week that the comments made in passing to a colleague had been reported by the Consulate General to the Global Affairs Canada property team. Let me give you an example of a comment made in passing, Mr. Clark. Hey, that meeting didn't go so well. Now, let me give you an example of someone who holds the most senior position at an organization telling their team that the facilities for them to live in and for them to work in were insufficient. And that's what you did, sir. Isn't that right?
Mr. Chair, as previous testimony has shown, the concerns about the official residence, let's call it the old official residence, have been around since 2014. I was
there, Mr. Clark. The difference, sir, is that you got the job and then the condo got bought. That's the difference. This isn't about what happened 8 years ago. What we need to know, sir, is why you didn't tell the truth. Sir, why you lied to committee the last time you were here. Why did you do that?
Mr. Chair, the evidence that I have given this committee has been consistent with the evidence that every other witness has given to this committee. It is straightforward and it is simple.
That's not true. And let me display for you some of the evidence that comes from your own department. First of all, there's the ATIP that was the subject of that November 5th story that was published. And in it, it says the current CNGNYHOM, that's you, expressed concerns regarding the completion of the kitchen and refurbishment project and indicated the unit was not suitable to be the Consul General's accommodations and it does not have an ideal floor plan for the Consul General representational activities. That's not what you said when you were here last time. And you were asked pointedly. And, you know, one of the Liberal members helpfully asked, did you at any time talk to anyone regarding a desire for relocation? Mr. Thomas Clark, quote, never. Well, now we know that's not true. We know, in fact, that you did make the comments. And you just didn't know that it was captured in official briefing notes. So you just didn't know that you knew that you made the comments, you just didn't know you got caught. Isn't that right?
Mr. Chair, as every other witness has testified, and as I have testified, this process has been going on for a long time. As I testified to this committee, I did not ask for or request a change of residence. I will restate that now. But this has been a process that has been led by Global Affairs Headquarters Proper Division in Ottawa.
Sir, let me tell you, when the head of the organization, and you described the importance of the mission, of which you're the head of, you described how important it is. For you to get things done, I don't imagine you need to directly instruct individual members of your team to do them. You need to identify that there's a problem, and then the team engages to solve it. That's how it works. This isn't some comment made in passing. And again, you talk about the evidence. Well, let's talk about the June 17th email from Emily Nicholson. And Ms. Nicholson says that the head of mission and staff have been instrumental throughout this process, with the head of mission, that's you, providing the green light for the selection of the new residents. Now, we know that once this scandal ended up in front of a parliamentary committee, that damage control was engaged, and Ms. Nicholson swallowed herself whole, saying that you had nothing to do with it. Well, I imagine when she was trying to save her job, that's exactly what she would say. But there are now multiple data points that didn't come from admissions from you or your staff, but came from accessed information demands and document production orders from this committee that revealed that you were involved, that your champagne tastes weren't being met with the recently modified shared representational space at the mission, nor with the multi-million-dollar condo on Billionaire's Row. With my last 30 seconds, sir, we know that you're not going to resign for having bought a $9 million condo on Billionaire's Row and having personally initiated that process. Will you resign for lying to a parliamentary committee?
Mr. Chair, what the evidence I have given to this committee consistently is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Too bad the facts don't back that up.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll now.
Just a reminder, gang, smash the like, hit subscribe. We work really hard at this stuff. Let's get back to the video.
Clark, at your last appearance, you were emphatic when you stated you had nothing to do with the decision to sell the old official residence. You had nothing to do with the decision to buy the new official residence. You had nothing to do with deciding on its amenities or its location. So let's cut to the chase. Since 2014, plans to repair the old luxurious official residence on Park Ave were ongoing and repairs commenced. No other prior head of mission demanded an immediate replacement. On February 23, 2023, your buddy Justin Trudeau appoints you head of mission in New York City. On April the 27th, same year, just a few months later, you host a reception for your buddy. You post a video to social media of the two of you in a limousine. In and around the same time, you and your office inform GAC officials, pursuant to an ATIP, that the property is not suitable for representational activities, it's not suitable as a residence, and I'm going to highlight this, requires immediate replacement. I have it right here, ATIP, black and white, Tom Clark. No other head of mission to New York City had issued that directive before other than you, Tom Clark. We also have the infamous email dated June 17th, 2024 from Emily Nicholson. States both CNGNY and HOM, that's you, Tom Clark, and staff have been instrumental throughout the process, with the head of mission, you, Tom Clark, providing the green light for the selection of the new residents. After your lies were exposed, you wrote to this committee. You tried to explain that your comments to officials were made in passing. Well, Tom Clark, that's another lie. Comments made in passing might include, how's the weather? How was your weekend? I guess my appearance at committee is not going very well today, but those are passing comments. You issued a mandated direction to your staff that was communicated to GAC officials that the official residence on Park Avenue needed an immediate replacement. Isn't that correct?
Mr. Chair, I feel I've got to correct the record here. Let me start by saying there was never a directive or a mandate from me to my staff whatsoever. Let's talk about who in your office you spoke with, because I'm also looking at an article from the National Post. You indicating you're quoted. I also observed the issues between family and representational spaces. I shared these views with Consulate General Administration. So who in administration did you communicate with? Names, please, and positions. When I first saw the residents...
Names, please. Names.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, when I first saw the residents, I was in the company
Clark, it's a direct question. Who are the officials in your office that you spoke with and raised these concerns? Give me names, please.
Mr. Chair, I'm trying to tell you that. I am trying to say that when I arrived in New York and I saw the residents for the first time, I was...
The history, Mr. Clark. Just give me the names of the officials in your office you spoke with. It is not a difficult question. For the third time, give me names.
Mr. Chair, for the third time, I will say that when I made those comments, I was in the residence. I was not in the office. The people in the residence were the ones greeting me at the time. One was our MCO, who was Mario Bott. And quite frankly, I can't remember who else were there. I think there were about 3 or 4 other people, mainly from the property section of New York.
Table all the names of the individuals you spoke with, where you highlighted deficiencies in the official residence, whether in the residence itself, the staff, and your staff at your office in Manhattan. Will you table those names and those positions, including their email addresses, to this committee, yes or no?
Well, Mr. Chair, I will do my very best to try and remember who
you also
in that
meeting.
Indicate
that the comment you made about immediate replacement was made in passing to a colleague and reported to Consulate General at Global Affairs. Who was that colleague?
Mr. Chair, I never made that comment.
You're quoted in the National Post, so you can take that up with the National Post. Now, it's very clear that GAC officials earlier this week confirmed how important your mission is. You, as head of mission, are the most important official in that residence, and what you say carries great weight. So, Tom, you influenced your staff because you indicated to your staff that your champagne tastes were not suitable anymore for Park Avenue, and you needed that wonderful Central Park view on Billionaire's Row. Isn't that correct?
Mr. Chair, everything that is said is inaccurate.
Thank you. That's our time. We'll go.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mr. Clark, for joining us today. It would appear that your testimony today is consistent with that you made at your first appearance here at committee, in which you continue to deny having any involvement in the purchase process for the new official residence, and that you made no direct complaints about the state of the current residence. Is that correct?
I made no direct complaint to the process. That is correct.
To the process, I'll note that. So to be clear, in response to my colleagues' questions, you testified that it was upon your arrival to the most important mission that Canada has, the first comments you made to those welcoming you were to express concerns about the residence that you were in fact going to be living in. And I'll refer back to the ATIP. I won't quote it because my colleague already did that. But the first comments you made to those welcoming you were to express concerns regarding the completion of the renovation and the refurbishment project. You indicated it was not suitable to be the Consul General's accommodations and that it did not have a floor plan that was ideal for representational activities. You went on to say, and you've testified again today, that somehow there is absolutely no connection to making these comments that were made to those greeting you, that there is absolutely no connection to the actions that took place and the decisions that were made following that. You know, while you refuse to see the connection, I think your staff certainly understood the mission. They understood what they were hearing, and they absolutely understood that you were not happy with the accommodations. You were making those observations right off the get-go, and that they needed to do something about that. You've also stated time and time again that you did not ever talk to anyone about this, and yet in your own letter, and you refused to admit that these comments were made to a colleague, and you said you didn't say that. It's in your letter. Did you write the letter that was sent to this committee?
Mr. Chair, I did.
So in this letter, you said, I was not aware until media reports this week that this comment made in passing to a colleague had been reported by the Consulate General. So my colleague had asked who that colleague was, and you said, I didn't make these comments to a colleague. Which is it? Did you speak to a colleague or did you not?
Mr. Chair, I did, but perhaps just for precision, could you ask me what comments you're referring to? Because if the comments you're referring to are me saying we need a new residence, that simply is not true.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to interrupt you there, Mr. Clark, because this letter that you sent was all about the issue of the kind of influence that you may have exerted over the purchase of this condominium. And so if you want to try and distract and confuse, I'm just going to use the time that I have to keep us on task here. We have received emails and official documents that indicated you were instrumental in getting the ball rolling on the purchase of the new residence. That's why you hurriedly wrote this letter, to say that the comments that were made were only made in passing. And I think we've already debunked that theory that you were only making comments in passing, especially since they were comments made upon your arrival. We also have the official report from Global Affairs Canada. So you see, Mr. Clark, the issue that we are facing here is that you have obviously and shamelessly lied to this committee on multiple occasions. And so my question for you right now is, why don't you just come clean with this committee and Canadians, admit you've lied, follow in Randy Boissonneau's footsteps, and resign?
Indeed. Good job, Kelly.
You have 20 seconds, Mr. Clark.
Mr. Chair, I would say once again, and I am under oath, I can tell you that everything I have said is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
It's the remaining seconds I have to my colleague.
Thank you. Given this testimony, I'm looking for unanimous consent, then, Chair, to call Mr. Mario Bott, Mr. Christopher Vistra, and the author of the International Platform Report, Ms. Christy Vliet. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Everyone has an opinion about Canadian federal politics. My name's Aaron, this is Canadian Looney. We're going to wrap it up. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a comment below. Check out this playlist, check out this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Aaron at Canadian Looney. Ciao for now. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks again for watching. We're out.